Hi muckers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all having the best day ever. Thank you so much for clicking on my video and on my channel today. This is the second video I'm uploading today. The first one I uploaded today, I was definitely going through it, and I've taken a very long nap and I've woken up feeling a lot better. So I'm very excited to be sitting down and talking about one of my favorite YouTubers today who's in a little bit of hot water and has basically just quit YouTube. And it was shocking but also not shocking, and I want to give my opinion on this from a YouTuber standpoint, from a drama channel standpoint, and then also as someone who is actually a fan of said person. But first, let's get into our mucker hug today. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you spending even a little portion of your day with this conversation. So let me know your opinion down below and we'll talk about it. So we are going to be talking about Emma Chamberlain. Emma Chamberlain is a YouTuber who was really one of the breakout vloggers and kind of completely shifted daily vlogging culture. So daily vlogging culture, for, I hate to say it, but like a typical white girl, was always showing off like your best day and look at your beautiful hair and look at your luxurious life and look how rich you are and look at your iced coffees and look, like it was very much so like what is made fun of now is like the day in my life videos. You know them kind of ones where it's like so unrealistic, or like my morning routines where they like wake up and they have a full face of makeup. That was really what vlogging culture was, specifically within the genre of like beauty gurus for a very long time. And Emma Chamberlain alongside Antonio Garza and YouTubers like that. Not Joanna Pansino. There was another YouTuber, I can't remember her name now, but she's no longer on YouTube and she was a great creator. She was also one of the main ones who kind of shifted what being a daily vlogger was and showing your like true authentic self on camera. So if you don't know about Emma Chamberlain, that is kind of what her content is. And she was in the Sister Squad years and years ago, and then she kind of broke out through that, and she kind of has not associated with YouTubers since that. She's been doing her own thing and focusing on that. She has a coffee company. She is also one of Louis Vuitton's main ambassadors, which is a really big thing, and she's been breaking out into the modeling world, and she's been doing that really successfully. A lot of YouTubers, a lot of influencers, you know, try their take on the modeling world, and they normally are never successful. But Emma was one of the ones who was able to transcend into that world kind of successfully, and she's been going to, you know, Paris Fashion Weeks and New York Fashion Weeks. She's always invited. She's always what Louis Vuitton kind of pushes like their it girl. However, in recent months, and specifically within the last year, it is very clear that Emma Chamberlain has been struggling online. It's very clear that she is nervous about showing what her actual life is, and she has been getting non-stop criticism for what people are criticizing her for as faking her life on camera to seem relatable. Now, at a certain time when Emma Chamberlain moved to LA, she was living in San Francisco, she moved to LA, she got a lot of criticism from people saying that she was going to change, that she was flexing her life too much, that she was too fake. So Emma's videos really turned into kind of boring vlogs, and I loved them, but they were her, you know, just in her car talking or doing the most mundane shit ever. And, you know, there was a lot of criticism starting to come Emma's way because Emma would sit down in a YouTube video and say that, you know, she's just gonna go to bed and she's having the most boring life ever, she's having the most boring week ever, and it just was a lot of repetitive, you know, I'm not going out, I don't really see that many people, and people were confused, specifically her fans who keep up with her life, because they were like, Emma, you were at the Met Gala last week, or Emma, you're going to all these influencer parties, or Emma, you're going to parties with Kendall Jenner, you're best friends with the Kardashians. However, you've never once said this or acknowledged this in your YouTube videos. You always just say instead that you hate partying and you never are invited to parties and you never go out. And also people were saying that she's going to all these, you know, fashion weeks, and it's not really what she shows on her YouTube. So she was getting a lot of criticism for faking relatability on YouTube to kind of appease her audience so that they could relate to her more. You know, she's doing mundane activities that me and you do every single day. We don't go to the Met Gala every single day. We're not invited by Louis Vuitton to all these fashion shows. Louis Vuitton isn't showing up to our house giving us a wardrobe of clothes. So she was dealing with all of this criticism for the past couple months of not being authentic on camera. Now, I made a video on this, and I don't know if you remember it, but my take on it, so I don't want to dwell on it too much, is that you can, you know, go to Fashion Week, you can go to the Met Gala, you can be friends with Kendall Jenner, you can be friends with the Kardashians, you can befriend all these celebrities, And you can still, for a majority of your life, spend a lot of it just going day by day, feeding your cats, going out and getting coffee, doing boring activities, reading a book, doing self-care, washing your face, getting a shower. You can do all of these things, doing yoga in your YouTube videos. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're lying on camera, but I also think there is so much pressure on YouTubers to stay relatable. And people push this mold on a bunch of YouTubers, and then whenever they are appeasing that mold, people then get jealous that they're not, you know, basically seeing every single thing to do with this person's life. So it really is a lose-lose situation here with any YouTuber when it comes to people wanting to see their every single life, their every single move. And I think Emma has specifically stated that she doesn't feel comfortable filming her friends or filming when she goes to certain things, and she likes just having YouTube as an escape where she can film her days and then make it more, you know, exciting in editing. And there's been this constant back and forth. But with that being said, again, my take on that is that it's a lose-lose situation for Emma. She can show going to all these parties and seeing all these celebrities, and she'll be said she's changed and she's fake and she's an LA culture. But if she doesn't show it, which she isn't, they're saying that she's lying, she's not being truthful on camera, she's not being authentic. So there's really nothing she can do to win. And it was very clear that this was getting to Emma because her recent uploads, as much as I loved them, were not what people would associate with Emma Chamberlain videos. She tried a new editing style and she tried a new filming style, and it was a lot more slow-paced, a lot more almost sad, and people were really noticing that it seemed that Emma's passion for YouTube was at an all-time low. You know, her editing was great, but she didn't really seem that passionate about her videos anymore, and she was going months without uploading. So Emma now hasn't uploaded in I think 2 or 3 months, and she's been, you know, doing her podcast, and she hasn't acknowledged her YouTube being dead, and she's been going to fashion shows, and she's been doing all this stuff and posting it on her Instagram, but she hasn't once acknowledged that she basically has just left her YouTube. However, she went on the Call Her Daddy podcast a couple weeks ago and acknowledged that she wanted to move on from YouTube, and she has now released a podcast which is called The Truth About YouTube, and I have the timestamp in which she talks about it overall in the episode, but I'm gonna let us listen to this clip about Emma talking about why she is taking a step back from YouTube, and then we're gonna get to, I have a Reddit thread from the Emma Chamberlain forum, which is fans having their opinion and their say on it. So we're going to get to that as well. But first of all, I just want to hear and let you hear what she has to say about why she's quitting YouTube. All right, here we go.
It destroyed me. It drove me insane for months. Until...
Oh, by the way, this is Anything Goes podcast on Spotify or any streaming services. I'm listening to this for commentary purposes. The Hollywood Fix tried to fucking come for my channel the last day, and I'm in a legal battle with the fucking Hollywood Fix right now because they're trying to take down my videos because they're saying that you're stealing our content whenever I was giving commentary on it. Fair use commentary is what I'm doing by listening to Anything Goes, a clip from it. You can listen to it on Spotify. Fuck you, the Hollywood Fix.
I got to such a dark place in this hamster wheel of being a YouTuber that I just said, you know what? I can't do this at all. I need to step back completely. I need to step back and heal from the years and years of burnout and give myself weeks, months, years, if I need to figure out if it's something that I can do in a healthy way. And so that's eventually what I did. And so for the last few months, I think 2 months, for the last 2 months, I haven't been doing YouTube. And I haven't been thinking about YouTube. And I've been focusing on my podcast, which is what you're listening to right now. And I've been focusing on my coffee company. And I've been focusing on myself and figuring out what types of things I enjoy doing outside of creating weekly YouTube videos, because that's the other thing. Because YouTube has been so time consuming over the past 4 years, I haven't developed many hobbies outside of it. My whole identity, life, was being a YouTuber. And I didn't have any room to develop hobbies or passions outside of it. And I need to do that.
All right, here's my thing as well. One thing that is so overlooked is that YouTube is a job as well, and a lot of people don't like acknowledging that. And I've said it in the past whenever like I've been talking with my friends and stuff, that my friends work 9-to-5 jobs, or some of them, you know, work different like scheduled jobs. I really don't feel comfortable comparing, this is specifically me, I don't feel comfortable comparing what I do to them on their feet, on their like doing like hard work every single day. And here's the thing, I'm not saying that, you know, creating content and the negative sides that come with that, which is, you know, hate forums, hate comments, people analyzing everything, which is ironic coming from, you know, a drama channel. Like, I'm just opening up the conversation about being a YouTuber, you know, like editing or looking at analytics or checking all this stuff. Like, that is time consuming, and emails and sponsorships and fighting for sponsorships, and whenever ad rates go down and you have to make a surplus of content to make up for it. There are so many things that go into being a YouTuber. I particularly do not feel comfortable comparing what I do to my brothers who work in science labs, or my brother who is a computer, whatever the fuck he does, it's like coding and shit, whatever the fuck. I don't feel comfortable comparing what I do to what they do, because I think it's so separate, and maybe that's like a, I don't know, I don't think I just have confidence that I'm doing enough on YouTube to like make up for that. But I openly acknowledge in the same time in doing that YouTube's a job. So a lot of people give YouTubers criticism, and a lot of people are giving Emma criticism for basically saying that, you know, she has created at most like one YouTube video a week for 4 years, and, you know, she's saying about burnout and all this, and people are like, well, you're not even working in a 9-to-5 job, you're not working in all this. And my response to that is, while I acknowledge people saying that, it's also important to note that if you're someone who creates content, you do not have a 9-to-5 job, you have a 24/7 job. Because if you did a 9-to-5 job, you would not be a successful YouTuber, you would not be a successful influencer, you would not be a successful model, you would not. Point blank period, you would not be successful. Because that's not how it works. You have to be on all the time, you have to be on your social medias, you have to be keeping up with trends, you have to be, it's a mental thing. So, to people saying that, how can Emma complain? You know, she's only uploaded like 1 or 2 videos a week for the past 4 years. Yeah, but every single day in that, even if she hasn't been uploading a YouTube video, for the 24 hours, she's been going to meetings, she's been doing tactical things behind the scenes, she's been keeping up with editing trends, she's been keeping up with sponsorships deals, she's been keeping up with what videos she's gonna make next, she's been working on the next videos. There are so many things that I'm not like defending or against the argument of YouTuber versus 9-to-5 job, but I think it's has to be acknowledged as well that, you know, people will say that, oh, being a YouTuber is not a real job, or how can you compare it? But they're able to watch content from their favorite creator at maybe 9 a.m. and then 12 p.m. and then midnight, and it's like they're working 24/7. It's just what you deem as them working hard enough. So yeah, I completely understand where Emma's coming from with the burnout and this conversation here. And I also think it's important to note that, you know, it gets expected of content creators to post a surplus of content over time if they keep up that mold that they end up creating themselves. But then the pressure of, you know, being irrelevant or dropping off is scary enough to keep people burning out, and even when they're not passionate about their content, keeping going. So I completely understand where Emma's coming from with this, but I wonder if you're not a content creator, like if you see it the same way, or you think it is like a selfish thing to say. I would love to know, for the people who do not create content online, that work a 9-to-5 job or work any other, you know, kind of job, what your take is on this.
To do that,
please, a respectful conversation about it.
Happiness. And I will say that after stepping back from YouTube, I'm in a better state mentally than I've been in the past 4 years, ever since I've taken a step back from YouTube. And I've just been focusing on my podcast and my coffee company and my family and my close 2 friends, and trying to figure out what other things bring me joy outside of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I've never felt so emotionally stable, possibly even in my life. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time I cried.
So here's the thing. YouTubers, content creators are not machines. They're not corporations. Or, is that the word? Like, machines. They're not machines. So they get burned out the same way anyone else would. So I'm happy that a conversation about burnout is happening here because I think it's so normalized that whenever you feel burnout, babe, just keep pushing. And that's not normal. That's not healthy.
Couldn't tell you the last time I had a panic attack. I can't tell you the last time. Actually, I could tell you the last time, and it was when I was still making videos. But anyways, I can't tell you the last time I had a depressive episode. I feel stable because I'm out of that hamster wheel of YouTube. And I don't feel like I need to be in a good mood all the time. I don't feel like I need to have something to talk about all the time. I don't feel like I need to spend my days doing interesting stuff all the time for the sake of my video. I feel like I'm allowed to just exist freely, and the way that I get to communicate with people who want to listen to me talk is through my podcast, which for me is a much more comfortable environment.
All right. Now, one thing I do want to acknowledge as well, as much as I love Emma, whenever she's saying about, you know, I can just exist freely, like I can just live my life and not have to work and not have to do this, I think it's also important to acknowledge, as much as I love the girl, the privilege in saying that. The privilege in saying that is that Emma was a YouTuber and made millions upon millions of dollars off of that. It's important to note that. So because of YouTube, Emma can now not work. You know what I mean? So like, just live freely. That is a very privileged thing to say. And as much as I love Emma, I would want more than nothing ever for her to acknowledge the privilege a little bit more. Because I would expect that of any YouTuber, regardless of if I like them or not. And it's disappointing to hear that it is spoken about almost as if like we all don't get to just, you know, not work and just live our lives freely. I mean, I don't know if I can speak for you, but I can speak for a lot of people who are watching this video right now who would much rather not work their job and just be able to exist freely and not have to care about financial means. So I would love for the, what's the word? The privilege to be acknowledged a bit more. But with that being said, I love the conversation about burnout being talked about. So on the Emma Chamberlain subreddit, I saw this big conversation that was one of the most upvoted topics about the podcast. Someone said, okay, so I made a Reddit account just to post this because it kind of got on my nerves. I've watched Emma for a couple years and I really enjoyed her content and really enjoyed her podcast up until the last few. I think she is gorgeous and has a great personality and definitely has the potential to do whatever she sets her mind to. And if she takes a break, quits YouTube, that's totally fine, I get it. Burnout is a thing, but this podcast just came out like a big wine fest for me. And I think that's why her recent podcasts have rubbed me the wrong way. She says she appreciates everything she has, and I understand it's hard to feel like you can't complain about things, but you were saying that you're working to the bone when you spent at most 30 hours a week, which is what Emma said, editing. Most people work at least 45 hours a week. You're burnt out and don't have time for a social life. This is what having a job is like. And again, I don't think that should be normalized as well. I think we're all in just such a world of like, work is everything because the world is forcing us to think that way. YouTube has made her wealthy and given her so many opportunities, and she has said several times that it's her passion. I wish I had a passion I could make money doing. And I realize that the fame and hardship that comes with living in the public eye changes the dynamic, but I feel like she never even thinks about the fact that normal people have to go to a job they hate every day and just deal with it. I feel like if she did, she wouldn't be acting like doing a YouTube job is impossible. I know this comes off really mean, but I used to find her very relatable, and now I just wish she would take a step back and think about how great her life is and really appreciate what she has. I know people get mad about posts like this, and I really honestly do love her and want to see her do well. Just think the way she's been looking at her life recently makes some of her audience feel kind of shit when they relate it to themselves. So, interesting. Now, we're gonna read the top 3 responses. So these are like the most upvoted responses. Someone said, I understand taking a break to heal. What I didn't really understand was this post on YouTube once a week or else she would keep trying to get another excuse for quitting. She must understand the power of having her following, that is that her audience would be okay with monthly videos or even bi-monthly videos, or however long she needs to make artful videos that she's proud of. It's not like her account will be deactivated if she doesn't post at least once a week, and she's not some small YouTuber trying to build an audience by constantly posting. It doesn't have to be post every week or not at all. Maybe as she gets a little older, things will be a less black and white for her. My assumption is that she probably wants to spend all of her time with her boyfriend, and that doesn't leave much room for shamelessly dragging a camera around her and filming herself for YouTube. It's not like she's out picking coffee berries for her company, packaging boxes for the sponsorships, or even spending time editing her podcast she loves. Someone else does that. It's not like she has to worry about coordinating time with guests for the podcast, doing research, or preparing for the podcast in any capacity. If her passion is film editing, I'd much rather see her be creative and do that decidedly out of the public eye instead of trying to cash out on a podcast and Instagram ads like every other influencer. She's releasing the one thing that set her apart from being an influencer world, and it's really sad. Alright, so I'll read out one more. I thought the same thing about the posting once a week thing. She absolutely is at the point in her career, and has been since maybe 2019, where she could post once a month. She has such a loyal fan base and community. We would love at least one video a month. I've also heard what a lot of influencers will do is batch produce content, filming one video 4 days in a row and then the rest of the month to pivot to whatever else they want to do. I feel like there are solutions to her dilemmas and she can't just think outside of the box. It always makes me sad she goes through so many mental health struggles but didn't pay to go to therapy. Famous people need therapy, especially at a young age. Alright, okay, so my overall take on this is that I love that Emma is having the conversation about overworking yourself and expectations that you put on yourself based on your own pushing yourself to the limit work-wise, and also that what you feel people might put on you expectation-wise, even if they're not. I really respect that, and I really like that that's what's happening. Again, I would not be being completely honest with you if I'm not saying that some of the things that she says really do rub me the wrong way. It really does seem like a lot of privilege never acknowledged. Like, being a YouTuber is something that doesn't happen to a lot of people, but that doesn't mean that you have to be so strawberries and fucking cream about it, like loving it. I've never used that analogy before. Like thinking it's so great or telling people it's all great. You know, you can acknowledge the bad things about it, but there is so much privilege in being able to like even upload one video a month and you make like $100,000 off of it. You know what I mean? So that's my overall take on it. I want to know your opinion on it. We can talk about it below, muckers. I love you and thank you for being here, and I will see you in my next one, and bye. Mwah.